Hi, I'm Susan Miller with Lighted Path Coaching and Art Studio, and today I want to bring you a workshop on mini mixed media collages. I was trying to figure out something to make for my daughter's wedding shower that would be special for each of the girls that came, something that I knew that I could make that would be very pretty, but at the same time simple for me because my time is limited. And something special that they could take home and put on their dresser or in a special place that would remind them about being at the shower and about being a woman. So I came up with this idea. I love doing collage, and I came up with this idea of using magazine images of faces. And I picked out some simple ones, actually, since my daughter and I had gone to David's bridal shop. We got to get these lovely magazines, and as you can see, I have some headless brides in here. Well, that's because I used some of the heads for this project. So here is the final project of what it is, and it is going to be on a little easel, which I'll show you, the supplies in just a minute. And it is going to have a really lovely painted background with a word that says something about being a woman. Here is one called comfort, and here is one called joy, authenticity, confidence, femininity, and let it glow. I got really excited about this because I got to use some of my favorite things, and strangely enough, here is one of my favorite things to use. Isn't that ugly? Well, it's the straw that came out of a big fat cup, but I use it all the time when I'm working with acrylic inks. That's another thing I get to use. Acrylic inks. I like these. These are FW by Daler and Rowney, and these are a particular one. This one is a pearlescent brand. Here is a regular brand as well. So I'll use acrylic inks in these projects today. I also love to use squirt inks to embellish, and as you can see on this, I actually embellished around the word with this particular with these particular inks. These are actually paints by Ranger, and they're called Liquid Pearls. And so I have put them around on the actual picture of the woman, as well as around the word that's on the card. I also use glitter glue or glitter paint. It doesn't really matter. Another item that you'll want to have on hand is a lovely skewer. And a skewer that has a pointy end. And you could use something else as well. But just as long as it has a pointy end and is very, very sharp, but not so sharp that it tears things or cuts things. And of course a trusty spray bottle, which I'll show you in the workshop how to use with your project. When you think of parties and bridal parties, a doily is something you think of. Well, this is used as a stencil. You'll see how to do that. Now, Michael's is where I got these. These are little easels, and you can paint them. This particular one is painted with a gold paint to make it look very shiny and glittery. Okay, so let's have some fun. Step by step, we're going to make little intuitive soul art for each of the girls coming to her shower. So I'm very excited about this, and hopefully you can use this idea as well when you want to do something for a party. So to start out with, we're going to put a little bit of water on each one. And these are actually ATC cards, if you've heard of that. And they are basically like clay board or aqua board, that type of thing. So I'm going to just do half of them. And I'm going to put a little bit of ink on each one. I love messing with acrylic inks. This is a bright color. This is Daler Rowney inks. And I'm going to just do little splotches is all. And I'm going to start with the warm colors so that I have sort of a background that would be nice and bright, because I'm going to mess around with the rest of it. As I go through this, I'm using more of an intuitive art process, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what they look like, because to be quite honest, I'm not sure what they're going to look like. I'm kind of excited about that. That's the way I like to do things quite often. So I'm going to take a little bit of water here from a spray bottle, and I'm just going to spray them. See how they spread out? Beautiful colors. These Daler Rowney inks are very nice, and there's also other ones that I like to use, which is ink by Liquitex. So I've got ink by Liquitex, and I've got Daler Rowney inks. So now that I've got that, I'm going to leave that just alone. Now we're going to work on this side, and we're going to do a different color. Same thing, a little bit of water on each one. And I'm going to take another warm color. This time I'm going to use this green color. It's called Genesis Green. Actually, I think I'm going to use this one. I'm sorry. It's just light green. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to consider this my warm color, because on the right side I'm going to do yellows and reds, and on the left side I'm going to do blues and greens. And all I'm trying to do right now is just get a background for these cute little shower gifts. The goal is to get some pretty backgrounds, and then I'm going to build layer by layer to give them a look that will have some type of words on there, or maybe a collage picture, a stamp. Not real sure yet. I know that I want to use some type of paint on top of them, where I actually embellish with paint too. So right now we've just got this much done. Now I'm going to actually take another color. So I'm going to take a little bit of a darker color. I'm going to use a bright red to put on this one. So we're going to do the same thing. And this time I'm just going to put, since it's a darker color, I'm not going to put tons of it on. I'm just going to put a few little splotches here and there. We're going to see what happens. This is a lot of fun. I don't know why I love dripping, but I do that a lot in my painting, and it just is a really fun thing. Okay, same thing. A little bit of water. Not using my brush, as you can see. I don't want to right yet. Right now, I just want the paints to spread out. Isn't that neat how they spread out like that? I think that's why I like them. Sort of reminds me of the 70s. Leave it just like that. Now I'm going to go to the other side, and I think I'm going to bring in a really pretty, like a marine blue. Well, here is a real nice one. This is a phthalo green. So we're going to put that in there. And I think I will try also this really cool cerulean blue on this one. I'll make them all look different. And one more color that I really, really love is this dark green. It's kind of like a marine green. It's very similar to that phthalo green. Just a different brand. Okay. Same thing. I'm going to spray. Now, this is the fun part. Well, all of it's fun. Okay, so I'm going to just sort of let it drip around on the, hold it up and drip it around. The nice thing about using these kind of colors is that they blend with each other. They do not look bad at all if they blend over each other. Isn't that cool? So I'm just going to do this for each one of them. So it's a very intuitive type of process. And I get to make something different for each one as well. If I want to add a little bit more water, I sure can. And that makes it go down even brighter. Okay, so we're going to town here. The nice thing when you set them up like this, you can do a bunch at the same time. Okay. And this one. I don't think I'll do a whole lot to this. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. And the same with this one. I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm just going to let it kind of make its own. It looks really cool. You see how intuitive this is? Lots of fun. Okay, almost ready because I've done pretty much all I'm going to do for my design. And now we just let this dry and we'll come back and do the second step. So I am doodling again with the other one. These are the different colors. And this is giving a little bit of a different effect because I'm actually making scratch marks into the darker colors. So it's showing the lighter color underneath, which is really, really cool. So cool. Okay. And you can just let them dry if you want and have that effect. I kind of like having sort of an interesting curly-Q effect. So those are done. Oh, got one more. And we'll have done all the little squiggly things that I want to do, at least on this layer. Because the next layer, I'm going to drip a darker color, like a sepia or a olive. More than likely a sepia. That's what I'm going to do, or a deep purple. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry and come back to the next step. Now on the blue-green, the blue and the green, the cool colors, I'm going to use a Payne's Gray. I used a sepia for the darker color on the golden red. I have a feeling this is going to have a little bit of a different effect. But we're going to see. I'm not sure if it's got any golds in it. So it might pick up this metallic blue. Very cool. I think I'm going to add just a little more water to it. See if I can get it to still gives sort of a pearlescent look. Very interesting. Black contrast or dark contrast. So again, the Payne's Gray. I am just looking for a contrast. Then I have finished this step, and we'll go on to the next once all this is dry. Now that gave it a sort of a brandish metallic look there because that blue was not dry. So that's kind of cool. So I learned something. Maybe the next time I will put it on a little bit wetter. We'll let these dry. Okay, I'm going to do some more with the doily. Getting some more white marks on it, which is very, very nice. Gives it a really cool looking effect. Again, I don't want it to look like a doily. I just want it to have an interesting effect, which is exactly what it's doing. Nice thing about doing these all at the same time, you can make a bunch of things at once using the same technique. So you don't have to put any extra paint out or go back and, you know, do it over again. Everything keeps it the same, but each one looks different. As you can see, we're layering, layering, layering. There's nothing that's the same. And so the nice thing is if you actually, you know, don't like parts of something that you've done, it really doesn't matter because you can do something on top of it. And that, you know, that's always available for you to make an adjustment. That's part of being an intuitive painter, is you learn to be able to not be too attached to what you've got going on, but enjoy each of the layers for what they're worth and decorate and design as you go along without a whole lot of thought into it. Almost finished with this white. While I'm working on this, I'm thinking, what color do I want to use on top of the warm colors? Got sort of a white on top of this one, which I really like. I'd like to actually try maybe a buff color. I was thinking of a titanium buff, which is a white, more of an ecru for the other one, since it's more gold tones. Okay, the blues are done. Now it's time to do the this one. I'm going to add a little bit of a brownish color to this so that it will, if I can find one real quick here. Well, I'll just add an ink. I add a teeny bit of this raw sienna, which will give it a sort of a buff color. So that's probably enough. So mix that all in there. Yeah, perfect. See how it gives it sort of a ecru color. So the ink is a very strong ink. So now we've got exactly the color we want to use. And I'm going to do the same thing with this as I did with the other. Yes, like that. Put a little bit over here on this side. Very cool. I just love this form of layering. I think that there is a real quality of relaxation and yet an anticipation and excitement as you go forward doing something unique, and you never know what the next layer is going to bring. The key is to have enough little things in your toolbox that you can figure out what you want to do next. And that's one of the things I have enjoyed doing, is learning from other artists all these little techniques of using these different tools and these different types of materials and stencils, and using inks, just the whole thing. Learning from great people like Michelle Thurbage, who is a ink and mixed media specialist, and I've learned from Carlin Holman, who provides absolutely wonderful technique workshops with watercolor and mixed media. And most of the stuff that she does you can use with acrylics as well as watercolors. So that's been a really nice thing. I kind of get the feel that this reminds me of, it almost reminds me of a an animal, you know, like a tiger, animal spots. Okay, that is all done. Now I can just let it dry. Okay, we're back now, and I have actually cut out little tiny faces, as you can see here, and I have glued them on to my substrate. This is called an Artist Trading Card, ATC, and I have talked to you about this and what it's made of, being a out of clay board, and it's sort of a wooden looking piece, so it's nice and hard. So I have gone and taken pictures of women and glued them with Mod Podge onto the back. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now with the other three that I have left. When I was cutting them out, I was actually deciding to have a theme of women's faces. Mainly because it's a shower, and I've decided on each of these that I want to actually have a word that describes a particular type of emotion or a particular adjective of a woman. Not sure what ones we're going to use, what words those will be yet. I have to next sit down with a piece of paper and write out some words that I like. And then we're going to figure out how to put them on there. I actually may not use lettering. I'm thinking about using instead words from magazines. So it will be collage again with a word depicting something about a woman, an adjective, and put it on the background. So that's that. We'll let these dry, and I will actually put the words on next. So I now have made several small collages. I picked out a word and a face. And now what I'm going to do is just accent the face a little bit. Just with some color on the cheeks. I'm just keeping it kind of simple. So I'm going to accent and then just kind of like as if I was putting on makeup on myself. I'm just putting some blush on the cheeks. So I think everything is pretty much the way I like it on there with that pink. Now what I'm going to do is use a little bit more color and paint some of the faces a little bit more. Some of the I may put some little tiny hearts on them or circles or something, just to give a little bit more of a curious look. So I have finished up pretty much all of these, but I have a few more to finish. Let me tell you a little bit about what I've done. So as you can see, this one is collaged with a woman and the word confidence. And I've actually taken glitter glue, and it's pretty much simple glitter glue. I got it Michael's, and it's Studio G glitter glue. I got them for $1. Pretty good deal. And the only other thing I have yet to do is to outline some of the words. So here is a finished one, and this one actually is for the bride, and it says embraced. I have painted glitter glue all over the whole piece, and I've also taken this Liquid Pearls by Ranger, and I have put a pearled line right around the word, and that actually does stand out just a little bit. These are somewhat puffy, which is kind of neat. Here's another one that I did. I painted a little more reddish color here to make her look a little bit magical. And then because I actually put a line here of gold paint that was a little bit too thick, I decided I wanted to go back over it with another paint on top of that, so it didn't look so big. I also accented her hair and put some earrings on her. So I'm going to go ahead and outline a couple of these for you so you can see how it's done. So I'm going to use a yellow, sort of a yellow liquid pearl. I'm just going to go around the edge of, squeeze, and go around the edge of the word. If you do the bottom and the top, It's a little bit easier, and then do the sides rather than going around the corner. I find that it doesn't mess up quite as much if I do that. And with her, she's got some flowers in her hair. So I'm going to take some of this white liquid pearl and just beat it up and make it look like it's got pearls in it, and just make it sort of stand out a little bit more. And that's all I'm going to do for that one. That one will dry. Now I want to show you how to finish up one. I'm going to paint the edges around this so you can see how much nicer it will look when I do that. I'm going to take a little bit of some acrylic paint. And the brush. And I'm just going to go around the edges in this color. You have to be kind of careful so it doesn't get over on the other side. Doesn't matter if it gets on the back. I'll have to go back around it the other side because there'll be one side that I won't be able to hold. If I want to, I can actually take some black ink, which I'll show you how to do, and go around the edge too. So you may like the way that looks better. Many different ways just to get an even color. A little bit of paint on that edge. Just gives it more of a finished look. Now these can be set on a little easel. Very tiny easel that you can get at Michael's, and at the end I'll show you how this can look sitting up. Okay, that one's ready. Now I will use a little bit of black ink around the edge. I think I'll just use this Payne's Gray. I got to remember to shake it up so that it actually doesn't have a gritty look. So, okay. So I'm just going to take this and paint around the edge. And that actually may be just a little bit easier to do than using that other paint. It just goes on and it soaks right into the wood. One thing I like to do is keep my ends of my brushes in water, because when you're working with acrylics and with glues, you can pretty much get ruined brushes really easily. So it's good to wet them, keep them wetted down, and when you take them out of the water, you want to rinse them off really well and then dry them off before you use them again. So that's how you do the edges. Pretty simple, all right? So I'm just about finished with these. I'm going to turn the camera off and finish them up, and I'll show you the final product. Well, I hope you had a great time. Looking forward to working with you again sometime on a new workshop. This is Susan Miller with Lighted Path Coaching and Art Studio. Wishing you a wonderful evening. Take care.